Welcome to Legacy Trails with your host, Stan Potts and Terry Horton.
Even before I was able to hunt, he would take me hunting, duck hunting or deer hunting.
My mom was a hunter, my grandmother was a hunter, and they started me hunting when I was just a little girl.
It's about passing it along. It's what my granddad and my dad did for me. They passed the outdoor legacy on to me when I was a little boy.
Come along with us as we show you our family's love of God's great outdoors on Legacy Trails. This week's show is brought to you by Chevy Silverado, the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. Heavy metal, because I didn't come this far to miss. Mission Archery, bows and crossbows that outperform their price. Spy Point, the world's best and most innovative trail and action cameras. Drop Tine product, quality mineral and seed blends with free shipping. ScentLock, proven deadly. Grace Camo and Lace, it's a way of life. And by booksbypots.com.
Welcome to Legacy Trails TV this week, folks. We're glad you're here. We got a great bunch of hunting action for you. My wife Brenda is headed out to Montana, Trophies Plus Outfitters, and she's chasing a whitetail and a muley, Terry.
You know, I think I've watched this hunt, and I think Miss Brenda takes her biggest mule deer ever on this hunt.
She does, bigger than any I've ever taken. You don't want to miss it, folks. Coming up next.
Brenda is hunting with Mike Watkins of Trophies Plus Outfitters near Alzada, Montana. Stan and Brenda have hunted with Mike on several occasions and always had great luck. This time, Brenda has her heart set on a big mule deer, and Mike has the area well scouted.
Oh, I think we better get on the road.
I think it's just a little bit cold out here.
Go get this deer.
Oh. Thankfully, the wind had died down, but it was 14 degrees. It was so cold. So we took the truck and we eased back in, started glassing the fields again, looking for Mr. Muley.
Last night when we left him, he was laying right down here in this field. I don't see him right now, but I know that there's this field and there's a series of fields right past those trees. I'm going to bet you whatever that he's in one of these two fields. I think we're just going to have to leave the truck here, get out, ease down through there and find him.
Yeah.
Besides that, we've already named him. He's Brenda's buck, so we're going to find him.
I like that. Got out and took off. There he was. He was bedded in the creek bed.
There he is right there. I need you to get in front of me and we'll get up behind that tree. We should work perfect.
Okay.
There you go. He's getting up, Brenda.
I got him.
Right behind the front shoulder. Yeah. Oh, perfect shot, Brenda.
Is he going down?
Yep,
Is he going down?
there you go. He's
You
down.
sure?
You don't need another shot. Oh, how lucky are we?
I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he was still laying over there. Yes, thank you.
Perfect.
Woo! Look at him. Isn't he gorgeous? Oh, my gosh. Look at this guy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. He's so heavy.
Whoa, look at that baby.
Isn't he beautiful? My goodness. He's starting to get a big old neck and everything on him, isn't he?
He is. He's ready to do the thing.
Yep, he
The
is.
fall dance.
The outfitter offers several types of hunts that enable hunters to pursue antelope, mule deer, and whitetails in Montana or Wyoming. Brenda's niece, Sydney Simmering, also hunted with Trophies Plus Outfitters, scoring her first ever buck, a nice Montana mule deer.
You got him? Okay, stand on broadside. Right on top of the hill.
I got him.
Put it right on his shoulder. You on him, Brenda?
Yeah.
Okay, just put it right on his shoulder and squeeze the trigger. Got him. Done deal. Heck yeah. First buck?
First buck.
So you started out pretty good. Congratulations.
Coming up, Brenda returns to Trophies Plus Outfitters in pursuit of whitetail when Legacy Trails continues.
Fast on a rough road riding, twisting, turning further from my home. And when it's done, believe that I will yell it from that mountain high. I was born free.
Truck guys, as dependable as the trucks they drive. Chevy Silverado, from the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road.
You're watching Legacy Trails, and now it's time for Along the Way with Stan Potts. Is sponsored by ScentLock, proven deadly.
Tim and I, folks, are sitting here talking today, and we're telling buck stories, and we've got plenty to tell, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
And one story that maybe a lot of you haven't heard is a buck I shot one time in late season, like the 24th or 5th of December, you know, right around Christmas. And I shot him, and there was a lot of snow on. He was coming through the brush. I just saw his one side of his rack as he's coming through the brush. I draw back, and he steps out at 40 yards. I don't have much time, so I shoot him, and I make a great shot. I get down, and I start tracking him. When I find him, one side, his right side, is busted completely off. Right above the brow tine, everything. It's just busted completely off, and I did not see that. And I was kind of bummed out about that, but I was glad to get a big mature buck late in the season like that. You remember, Ted?
Oh yeah, I remember.
And who was the guy that I saw at the coffee shop the next morning?
Earl Nicholson, lifelong friend of yours.
Yeah, Earl Nicholson, lifelong friend. I'm having coffee the next morning. I tell him about it. The buck's hanging in the garage. He said, "Are you kidding me? I found a horn about 200 yards the other day from that spot. I'll meet you over at your house." He goes and gets a horn that he'd found broken off, met me at the garage, and it fits perfectly. It was the horn that the buck had busted fighting at some point in time, and I gave it to the taxidermist when I took him in. He fixed it, and you can't ever tell it was broken now. And so what's the odds of that?
Pretty slim. But with Earl out there, he finds all kinds of horns. It's hard to tell him what he'll find.
He does. Thank you, Earl Nicholson.
You're watching Legacy Trails. Brenda returns to Trophies Plus Outfitters in pursuit of a whitetail. She's hunting with Richard Watkins, and true to form, Richard has several ranches pre-scouted.
I think we'll park right here, Brenda.
Okay.
There's a spot over here where a tree sticks out here. It's a good spot to look, and I think if we sit right there, we'll have a little bit of cover, and the wind will be right. And we can see the deer coming out from a few angles.
Okay.
So we just ease out here, and we'll work our way down to it here. Brenda, I'm just gonna sneak up here and look over that dike. We'll see if there's any deer coming out of the field. Okay.
Once you spot a buck that you're interested in, then you have to come up with a strategy to either get down close to him to get a shot, or try to figure out where he's going and try to get there and intercept him.
All right, Brenda, I see a nice deer up here. I think we can use this dike right along here and sneak up here and take a better look at him. Okay? We have to be careful. We got some does coming out in the field already. So we'll just ease up through nice and easy. All right. Stand up. Just sit, Brenda. Okay, yeah, we're still good. Very good. I think we can get up to this grain trail and get a good rest. Okay? If you want to give me your bag, I'll just carry that.
We eased up to this piece of farm machinery and we got settled in and watched the buck, but gosh, there was all this sagebrush. By now we've lost not only camera light, we've pretty much lost light. It's getting dark. And I was worried I wasn't going to get a shot before my field producer said, "No, we're done."
Is that last buck, Brenda?
Okay, I see the little one.
Yep, that's right in front of him. That little one's right in front of him.
Okay, I got him.
Yep, that last one there. That's him. Okay, when he clears there.
Okay.
Yep, go ahead, whenever you're ready. You got him. You got him. Nice job.
That was a long shot.
Nice job.
We
You
don't
and
get
Mark.
those long shots like that in the Midwest.
It's wide open out here. Nice job. Here's some blood right through here, Brenda. Right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
We found the blood trail right off, and it was a good blood trail. And we were able to
Right here,
follow
Brenda,
it
there's some blood.
easily in the dark with our
There's some
flashlights.
blood right here.
Oh, yeah, he's bleeding really
I
good.
think these are his tracks here.
Yeah.
He's bleeding out pretty good. Here we go. Some blood there. Oh, what's that? There he is. There he is. Nice job. Nice job. Don't need to track that anymore.
Oh, thank heavens. Thank you, God.
There he is.
Oh, yes.
Don't need to track that.
Oh, that was a long shot.
It was. I think you got him right where you're aiming.
He's a really great 10-pointer with a bunch of stickers down on the base of his antlers and a little point off of his G2. And he may not be the world's biggest buck, but to me, he's very special.
It's your first Montana whitetail, isn't it?
It is my first Montana whitetail. I've got 2 mule deer out here with Trophies Plus, but this is my first whitetail.
You're watching Legacy Trails. We'll be right back.
"12 years ago, Heavy Shot unleveled the playing field. We think it's time to unlevel the playing field again. Heavy Shot proudly brings you Speedball. Designed with the Speedball pellet accelerator, Speedball's layered construction keeps high-energy Heavy Shot pellets flying slightly ahead of the MV2 pellets. Speedball. Unlevel the playing field."
You're watching Legacy Trails. It's time for Know Your Game with Allie and Adriana Armstrong.
Illinois is known for its big bucks, and Southern Illinois certainly has its fair share. One lucky hunter was fortunate enough to tag the buck of a lifetime, and we want to hear how he did it. Everyone, I would like you to meet Craig Williams. He's a very accomplished hunter in his own right, but this fall of 2013, he did something that most of us hunters only dreamed about. He killed a monster buck that scored 197.5.
Let's go check it out.
Craig, I'm sure our viewers have lots of questions, like have you ever seen this buck before in your area?
Yeah, I started seeing some pretty good sized rubs in the area around my tree stand. I decided to get my camera in there and try to get some pictures of the buck, rubbing on the trees. I ended up getting pictures of this guy. couple weeks before gun season. The first day, I actually saw the deer on the hoof. He was chasing a doe. They were a little out of range, so I had to make a stand adjustment and move the stand down the tree line. The next day I came back and the deer presented himself about 32 yards at a bad angle. I knew through previous experiences that probably wouldn't be wise to take that shot. So I actually did draw on the deer and let down at that time and decided to try another day. Next morning I got in the stand bright and early before daylight, sat in the stand all morning and actually didn't see anything. About 10 till 2, to the ridge to my right, I could hear what sounded like a young buck. It was grunting nonstop, back and forth on the ridge. I still couldn't see the deer, but I decided to go ahead and get ready just in case, because I knew what was there. So I did, and it wasn't long after I had my bow in my hand that this guy appeared and came off the ridge right towards me. He stopped about 17 yards and I made the shot. And we found him laid up, and that's when the high fives began.
Thanks, Craig. Hopefully some of these tips will give you a hint on how to kill a world-class buck like this one.
Kids Gone Hunting with Buck Horton is presented by Chevrolet Silverado. Find new roads.
I'm Buck Horton, and you're watching Kids Gone Hunting. This week we got a really good show for you. Watch this.
Well, last spring I was at the Kentucky Sportsman's Show and met Robin Gassett and got to talking to him, and he extended the invitation to bring my niece Sydney down to hunt with him during the youth weekend in Kentucky. Told Sydney, and that's been, gosh, about 5 months ago, and she's been excited for 5 solid months, and so have I, getting ready to come to this.
What do you got to say for yourself?
I have no idea. I don't know a lot of experienced hunters that can shoot this well. It's the first time she's ever shot a 270 in her life. My mom and my grandma Daisy were huge influences in my life because they were both hunters. One of my favorite memories is hunting with my grandma Daisy, you know, all dressed in camo, carrying her gun. And I was just a little kid and I wanted to grow up and be just like her. So I'm fortunate that I had mentors and role models that were women in the industry. You're putting on Stan's lucky boots. Stan the big buck man. He's killed a few, so hopefully those boots will bring you luck. But you gotta wear 3 pairs of socks to get them on. Yeah, one on the left. Yeah, the left one. Can you see it okay? Yeah, okay. Get your safety off. I see it. You ready? Take a deep breath. And squeeze.
Let's go. I was about ready to get nervous and all hope was being lost, but then look where you got her, right where you're supposed to. Good shot. Oh my heavens. Now, haul her up out of there. Throw her up on the back end of that buggy. That's Kenneth's and your job.
My job?
Yeah.
This is my life. The weekend warrior. No more production lines or deadlines. This is why I work 5 days a week. I need speed, power, precision. I expect no less than the best. This is my best. This is my chance. This is my mission.
Simple, efficient, powerful. Mission by Matthews.
Welcome back to Legacy Trails. Keepers of the Flame with Terry Horton is brought to you by Spy Point, the world's best and most innovative trail and action cameras.
At Legacy Trails, we treasure those gifts and traditions handed down through the generations. Each week, we like to take a moment to pay tribute to those whose hard work keeps our outdoor heritage alive, whether it's an organization or a specific individual, from the past or the present. Each one has made a difference. We call them Keepers of the Flame.
This week, we honor an historical figure, our nation's 26th president, Theodore Roosevelt, whose contributions to conservation are many. In September of 1883, Roosevelt went to the Badlands for the first time. His passion for big game hunting inspired him to see the West, but by the time he arrived, the vast herds of bison were gone. As he spent more time in the area, he became concerned for the land and its wildlife. Big game species were on the decline. Overgrazing was making an impact. He became committed to restoring and protecting America's wildlands. After becoming president in 1901, Roosevelt created the U.S. Forest Service, established 51 federal bird reservations, 4 national game reserves, 150 national forests, and 5 national parks. In 1906, he signed the American Antiquities Act, enabling him to proclaim 18 national monuments. Throughout his presidency, Roosevelt protected approximately 230 million acres of public land. Roosevelt, whose likeness is carved into Mount Rushmore, was an avid hunter and conservationist. He believed so strongly in the need to protect this nation's wild resources that he founded the Boone and Crockett Club in 1887. He challenged Congress to increase the usefulness of land because he believed it was vital to the prosperity of future generations. Roosevelt had this to say about our heritage. We have fallen heir to the most glorious heritage a people ever received, and each one must do his part if we wish to show that the nation is worthy of its good fortune. We couldn't agree more, and salute President Theodore Roosevelt for his legacy of conservation.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to Legacy Trails this week. We sure enjoyed bringing it to you, but remember, we need you right back here next week, so we'll see you then.
You know, Miss B got a muley and a whitetail. Hey, thanks for watching, and God bless.
Next week's preview presented by Ground Dogger Hunting Solutions.
We're just glad to get a bull. He's a nice bull. Tickled to get him.
Closed captioning provided by Bow Addicts. Feed the addiction. This week's show is brought to you by Chevy Silverado, the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. Heavy Metal, because I didn't come this far to miss. Mission Archery, bows and crossbows that outperform their price. Spy Point, the world's best and most innovative trail and action cameras. Drop Time Product, quality mineral and seed blends with free shipping. ScentLock, proven deadly. Grace Camo and Lace, it's a way of life. And by booksbypots.com. Promotional consideration was provided by these fine sponsors.
Oh my gosh, he's so heavy.
Whoa, look at that baby.
Isn't he beautiful? My goodness. He's starting to get a big old neck and everything on him, isn't he?
He is. He's ready to do the thing.
Yep.
First Montana whitetail, isn't it?
It is my first Montana whitetail. I've got 2 mule deer out here with Trophies Plus.